Hey, what's up, guys? David Glenn for davidglennrecording.com and the Pro Audio Files. First, I hope you're doing amazing. Second, I've got a really exciting new series that I want to introduce you to. It's called the Mix Template Series. Now, it sounds kind of boring, right? Well, mix template. It could be a 10-minute video to kind of show you an overview and, hey, this is that and this is this and whatever. But I'm going to try to create something a little more in-depth, a little more involved with mixing tips and strategies and techniques and lots of cool things along the way. I'm going to try to make it a little more interactive than any of my former tutorials. And to do that, got a couple of logistics to get out of the way. And then we're going to jump in this first video and we're going to look at the stereo bus, the master fader, and some utility plugins. But before we do that, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Pro Audio Files. Make sure you get all the latest notifications for the new videos when they come out. Second, go to facebook.com/DavidGlennRecording. Run a search if you have to, but facebook.com/DavidGlennRecording. I'm going to be hosting some live Q&A and posting some exclusive videos for this series over on my Facebook page. So make sure you do that. And then third and final logistic, go to davidglennrecording.com. On the homepage, there's going to be a banner, and you'll see it'll say the Mix Template Series. I'll come up with some fancy graphics or something, but click on that banner, and it'll take you to a page that's going to be set up exclusive for this series. I'm going to be giving you free mix templates. I'm going to have Pro Tools, my exact template, available for you to download. I'm going to have a stock plugins version of my template for you. And then I'm going to be working really hard, very quickly, as soon as possible, if it's not there already when you're watching this, to get as many DAWs as possible covered. Logic, Studio One, Cubase, Sonar. I'm going to try to go through as many as possible and get you templates set up so that you can download mine, get a lot of the work already out of the way, the routing and signal flow and all that good stuff, and you can just kind of tweak the taste and drag what your favorite plugins are, what you use, etc. But I'm going to do that over at davidglennrecording.com, and then I'm going to host some free multi-tracks for you. So I'm going to throw some multi-tracks in with this series. You'll get to download those, mix a song, add it to your resume. Next month, I'm going to be mixing that song for you guys, again, free here on the Pro Audio Files. And that'll be a part of a new series that we'll call the Mixing Checklist series. I've released a PDF called the Ultimate Mixing Checklist. This month, we're going to do the template. Next month, we're going to mix a song and go through the entire process together. So enough of that. I think I got all the logistics out of the way. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. If you like it, if you dig it, would love for you to share it with as many people as possible. It helps me help you, bring you more free content. Whew, all of that out of the way. I tried to record this video like 10 times, so I'm glad that we got through that. Next up, we're going to move on, and I'm going to talk about the master fader. All right, so moving right along, we're going to take a look, kind of top-down approach. We're going to go from the master fader and work our way back. On the master fader, I put what I call the utility plugins. We'll go through them here. The first one is Sonar Works, and I know a lot of you guys have already heard of this, but if you have not heard of Sonar Works, actually, if you have, skip forward a couple minutes because I'm going to brag on these guys for a minute. If you haven't heard of Sonar Works, man, go to sonarworks.com and check it out. They're going to explain it way better on their website than I ever could in a couple minutes of rambling. But basically the gist is I'm weird. I mix on headphones. I've got the Sennheiser HD650s. About the time I transitioned from producing and engineering into mixing, I left the studio and started working from home. And, laptop producer, superstar, right? But anyways, my wife and I just had a baby. And so working late at night, studio musician hours, and the baby being asleep, not so good for, mixing on loud monitoring or whatever. So I just listened to music forever on headphones, and I was very comfortable working on headphones, so I started that. And the only thing that really killed me about mixing on headphones, or even in a home studio or project studio environment without an incredible room, was accurate representation of what I'm hearing. So I would mix on the cans, and then I would go out to the car. You probably can relate. I would go bounce CDs before, Dropbox and all of that. But then when Dropbox and aux auxiliary or whatever in the car was there, go to the car and then back to the studio. Oh, the bass isn't right. I got to boost it a couple dB. And then boost the bass and then come back in and check the subs and the kick. The kick sounds great in 100 hertz or whatever, but there's no bottom to it, no sub. So we got to go back to it was hours of going back and forth. It sounds like a commercial for these guys, but I promise you, the struggle is real, and I know a lot of you guys can relate. But Sonar Works solves that problem. So basically, I use the Sennheiser HD650 headphones. Amazing cans. I love what they do. But you can see there's barely any sub-frequency response down here with these cans. Well, Sonar Works solves that. They go in and they compensate. I've got the average profile, but they have an average, and then they also offer a custom profile where they'll take your exact headphones and run the whatever it is that they do, the science and the good stuff. But basically, this compensates. You can see the blue line it's a natural response of these cans, and then the green here is the correction curve. So the subs now, if I'm working on a sub drop, a kick, and the bass, trying to get that low end right, and I don't have Sonar Works, I'm going to be boosting for days to try to feel or hear some sub frequencies in these headphones, and then I'm going to go hear that in the car or on a system where the subs are reproduced, and I'm going to distort or blow the speakers because I haven't heard that accurately. So a lot of you guys, it's not that you need a new EQ or compressor plugin, it's that you need to be able to hear what's coming out of the system accurately. You need a sub, or you need something like this with Sonar Works so you can reproduce and make informed decisions. But you can see the curve there. It goes on the low mids, the mids kind of janky, and this compensates for that. So Sonar Works right out of the gate, that is to me the most important. My mixes night and day from before, whenever I had to use the go back and forth from the car to the studio, back and forth all the time. Night and day between that, and then shout out to my man Joey Fernandez for hooking me up with the knowledge of Sonar Works early days before anyone started covering it. That is that. So Sonar Works it's the last thing in my chain there. Next up, we've got a metering plugin. I like to keep an eye on where we're at. As you'll see in future videos, I like to mix through the bus processing and mix through my limiter. I like to have it on from the very beginning, push up a rough mix, kind of evaluate where things are at, check the gain staging, and then move on and mix into the limiter. For me, I like to have my eye on where I'm at, ballpark, LUFS, or RMS while I'm mixing. And so you'll see me kind of peek at that as I mix a song. My members at the Mix Academy know I'm always looking over to my second screen here because this lives in the corner up there. And I won't get into what I'm looking for, but anywhere from -10, -9, -8, what have you. So anyway, so that's my metering plugin. We've got that up on the screen. There's a couple of new ones. I should probably look up, you know what, let's do it together real quick. What's that new plugin? It's called Levels. Mixing meter. I don't know. We'll type something in here. Levels. Mastering the mix. Levels. Is that it? Look at this. We found it. So masteringthemix.com. I want to give a shout out to these guys because while it's not in my template yet, I've been using it. I just have been lazy and forget to open up the template and save it in. This is ridiculous, and they just dropped the price. So show some love for him. Go check out masteringthemix.com and all of the awesome stuff this can do. Very affordable. Isotope Advanced is incredible, but it comes at a price tag, and there you go. So Levels, Isotope Insight. Next up, I have an EQ. Now, I'm going to do a little video on this separate from this one where I'm going to mention the technique that I use this EQ for. But basically, I tell you what, let's come back to that. We're going to come back to that plugin. Here's Audria. Audria is a plugin that I use for two things. Number one, Audria will allow me to stream out of Pro Tools. You can see it's going to scan for devices, but I don't have them connected. It's going to allow me to send a stream of my Pro Tools mix right out of here, Pro Tools. I think it's any DAW. I can't remember which DAWs it supports. But to my phone, my iPad Pro, it's going to allow me to send the signal to those devices, and I can reference without having to bounce and put in Dropbox and then upload it and then click over and hit play. It saves a little bit of time. So Audria is first and foremost for that. And then secondly, a little bit pricey for what it is, if I'm honest, but Audria is also an incredible way to stream right out of your Pro Tools session to a client. You can send it to their mobile device or their computer, and they can click a link, and they can listen in while you mix. And so if you have a remote client, someone maybe lives in wherever, China, and you're mixing a song for them, you can Skype or video chat and then send them an audio link. And so you have the face-to-face connection kind of, and then you can send them the stream and they can make changes. Hey, turn the background, the ladies, I want the girls up, turn the men down. Kick's a little bit too loud, let's turn that down. They can hear a live stream full, I forget, I think it's 320 kbps quality. But anyways, it sounds great. It works great. That's Audria. All right, next up, we're going to take a look at the, you know what, actually, let's wait on Ozone, same as the Pro Q2 there. Let's look at Magic AB first. This is made by the guys at Sample Magic, and this just lives the entire mix process for me in the top right-hand corner of my screen in the mini mode. But you can import reference tracks, click play, you can adjust the volume from track to track, all kinds of little things you can do here. Go to samplemagic.com and check it out. I will pull in my client's rough mix to the top here, and then I'll have the reference tracks that they suggest here below that, and then I'll have my references off to the left. Like I said, I put it in mini mode and throw that to the top right corner of the screen. It just kind of lives up there while I'm mixing, and you can click. A would be your output from Pro Tools, B would be the reference tracks, and you can click back and forth and do that. Now, with that being said, let's go back and talk about the Pro Q2. So I'm going to leave Magic AB up there. That's where it lives. The Pro Q for me, this is going to be where I'll take and just suck out all the top end, and I'll start down here 20, 30 hertz, and I'll click over to a reference track, and I'll click play, and I'll listen, and I'll see, okay, what's going on? The client's reference, the mix has got a great low end with the kick. At 20, 30 hertz, they let the kick win the battle down there, and I hear kick drum pulsing. Let me click over to mine. Okay, cool. Then it's pulsing right there with the reference track. Pull it open a little bit and kind of listen to 40, 50 hertz. Click over to the reference track. All right, so the bass is coming in, starting to feel that. Then I'll click to mine. Ooh, not feeling the bass so much. Then I know, hey, red flag, let me go work on my kick and bass, and I'll kind of mix with this on. Maybe sometimes leave it at 50, 40, 50 hertz, and then kind of bring it up. And this would be similar to mixing with only the sub on. A lot of guys do that. It's a pretty popular technique to turn off your mains and only mix with a sub or filter out the top end and hear what's going on down there. So great way to eliminate the distraction of the mid-range and the top end. Just make sure that the bottom end is working great together. And I throw this on the master fader so that it impacts both the reference track and my mix. And so another thing to look out for with the Pro Q2, a cool thing that I discovered early on when mixing, especially for more modern pop mixes, I would leave 80, 90, 100, 150, 200 hertz pretty full on a pop vocal until I started doing this referencing technique where I'd listen to the track and then come through here, and I would notice that a lot of pop, not all, but a lot of pop vocals, they don't really have too much going on in the lows or the low mids. They suck all that out, and it's got a very nice, mid-rangey quality to it. But doing this allowed me to hear, oh wow, my vocal is starting to really, it's got some oomph, some fullness in it, which you may dig. I liked it. I like a little more lows in my vocal than most, but this will allow you to hear that more zoned in to what you're looking at. And just kind of open it up and get through the frequency range. You can kind of get the gist now. So that's the Pro Q. Turn that off. I pull that open from time to time, but it's mostly off. And then here we're going to look at the Ozone 7 matching EQ. And I'm using this for the matching feature, and that's it. You can, I've got a couple videos out. I think you search David Glenn mix critique, there's definitely a couple videos where I showcase this plugin and this practice of matching EQ. But the short of it is you click on the reference audio, you hit capture, you set Magic AB over here, and you hit play, and it will capture the frequency response of your reference track. Once that's done, you stop it, you come over here to your target audio, which would be your mix, hit capture, make sure this is set to A for your mix, hit play, and then it's got a match curve over here. So if you have it engaged, it's turned on, you can see whatever I had as my mix and whatever the reference was, the reference had less bottom end and less top end. So the curve is telling me, hey, pull out top and pull out bottom. Now there are two ways you can use this information, or two ways you can use this plugin. I will, a lot of times, just leave it on. I'll do the matching EQ. I'll say, I kind of like the reduced bottom and the reduced top and the cleaned up low mids or whatever it is. And then I'll just click from here and drag it below my processing but pre-master fader. Mastering limiter. And I'll leave it there. Or, that's kind of the lazy way. I like to do it, but that's kind of the lazy way. Or you could come over here and say, okay, this curve, based on the reference, if I really want to go that way, I may just kind of be using a reference as a guide and not really trying to be super tight to it. This is telling me that I've got a bottom heavy mix compared to the reference, and I've got a top heavy mix compared to the reference. The mids, everything's kind of, it's decent, a little bit of low mid there maybe to check out. But then I can go back to the Pro Q, pull this open, and go back and get back to the drawing board with my low end, pull open the kick, pull open the bass, listen for any sub drops, anything that's going on down there, and see if I want to do any more work to that or not. And then the top end, the same thing. So I click over and I see, wow, 4K and above, like it's just got this, crazy curve there. Granted, I'm using a high percentage, but for a quick example's sake, I just wanted to kind of share. Then you can go back and work on your top end, and then make it inactive, tweak your mix. It helps you to kind of pinpoint areas where you may have a weakness, or it could just be that your mix is different. But anyways, those are the utility plugins. You know what? For the sake of breaking this up, this whole series into sections where you can go and find things in reference and not be just one big 2-hour video, let's go ahead and we'll end this video, and we're going to move into a new video where the mix bus, the mix A, B, and C is going to be covered. All of these buses up here are going to be covered, and then we're going to work our way backwards into the live drums, beat production, bass, low end, the instrument tracks, the vocals, all of the effects ends, tons of stuff to cover in the mix template series. If you like the video, please hit like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Go to facebook.com/DavidGlennRecording, like the Facebook page, and post your questions there. I'm going to be doing live Q&A every week. I'm going to be hopping on, answering your questions, and then I'm going to be posting exclusive videos over there as well, based around the series. And then, of course, don't forget to download the free mix template. I'm giving you my template. Take it, tweak it to taste, or copy everything I do. Who cares, right? Do your own thing with it. Swap out the plugins that you do have and make it your own. But we're going to cover more in the next video. We'll see you guys there. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you in many more videos to come.